Good evening and welcome to Trinity Christian School. I'm here today with Coach Gary Sanders, the varsity baseball coach here at Trinity. Coach, it is a beautiful day for baseball today.
We've been blessed and fortunate. It is 80 degrees, sunshine. We couldn't ask for a better day to play.
Couldn't ask for a better day, and sitting here looking at the field, it is in awesome shape. It's probably as good as I've seen it in the 8 or 9 years this complex has been here now.
We've been blessed with having a lot of people take part in it and help us do it, and the kids take pride in out here. And every day after practice, they're going to be raking and doing things. But we're proud of all of our facilities here.
And, well, you should be. There for a small private school, Trinity's got one of the nicest facilities of anywhere, rivals even some public schools. Coach, let's talk about 2016 baseball. Let's talk about your team this year and the number of players you lost from last year's team and what you're building on this year.
We lost a lot of players last year, but I'm excited about the group we've had this year. They have worked extremely hard. They've bought into what we're trying to do. That they've given us everything they've got, and that's all you can ask is give yourself a chance. Come out here, work hard every day at practice, and they're doing that. And the younger guys are really stepping up. I think the older guys are providing leadership for us. We only have one senior, Matt East. We hope to start getting him back soon on a limited role. Two juniors, Britt Evans and Philip Barwick, are providing us leadership, but we've got everybody stepping up and doing a great job for us.
That's great. So far this year, up to this point, you have played 2 games. You opened up against Gatewood. Tell us about that game.
I got to start off with Chase Autry on that game. He pitched a great game, threw 65 pitches in a 7-inning game, and he did a super job with that. Only gave up 2 hits, didn't walk a batter. He's going to pitch to contact. He's not going to strike out a lot. And we just got to play good defense behind him, and we did that. And we took advantage of their mistakes and got some runs. And Britt Evans had the home run that kind of put it away for us. And then against Brentwood, Britt pitched an outstanding game, gave up 1 hit and 2 runs, 1 earned run in 6 innings, or 5 and plus innings of work. And, so pitching right now has been extremely good. Hitting wise, the more we see, the more we play, the better that's going to get. And some of these young guys are seeing stuff that they're not used to seeing, and they just got to grow up in a hurry, and they're ball players, so we expect a lot out of them.
Well, generally your defense in baseball seems to be a little bit ahead of the bats. However, against Brentwood, the game that we took it on the chin 2-0, you had some players who hit the ball very, very hard, and it looked like they were going to fall in gaps. But Brentwood, to their credit, made some good plays. But it does look like your guys are putting the metal on the ball.
And we're starting to swing the bats better. And like I say, I tell them all along, you can hit BBs at them, right at them, and they make the plays. You're going to have some bad days like that offensively. Defensively, you can't have a bad day. Just let's make the routine plays, and everything take care of itself. And that's what we got to do, throw strikes and play defense, and the hits will start falling.
Well, defense is extremely critical when you're not putting many runs on the board. And if you give up a run or 2 that's unearned, that's maybe the margin of victory or defeat.
It is, and that's the way it is. That's the way it's played, and that's why we spend an awful lot of time on defense. We probably spend 2/3 of our practice every day on defense because we feel like we've got to be sound there, and we're getting there. And we still, this year, with the numbers we have and with a few injuries, we've having to move people around to different spots, and they're having to work and learn 2 or 3 different positions, and they're doing a great job of it. And wherever we've asked them to put them in, they've stepped in and done a good job for us.
Speaking of injuries, let's talk about a couple of the key injuries that is really juggling your lineup up to where people are having to play a lot of different positions. But talk about some of your injuries.
Again, I'll start with Jake Walker had a hamstring injury from football and basketball, and we've got him back on a limited basis right now, but we're trying to work him in so he's able to play for us. Matt East hurt his ankle during basketball. We hope to get him back in a limited basis this week. He's been swinging the bat and throwing a little bit. And then Blake Purvis broke his hand, and so we'll probably be without him for about 4 or 5 more weeks. So, we've had to try to mix and match and see what gives us the best combination out there, and it's limited us a little bit, but they've been working hard at it and doing wherever we asked them to play.
Yeah, Matt hurt that ankle first half of the season in basketball, which really hurt the basketball team. And Matt, if I remember last year, really came through for you on the mound in the playoffs and pitched extremely well. And I know you'll be extremely happy to get Matt back. When do you think he'll be back?
We hope maybe by Bullock game the end of this week to get maybe an inning or so on the mound and start working him in, because last year at the end of the year he's a good number one. And he can throw the ball well. He shut down John Millage, who was very good offensively. Held Deerfield, who won the state, to 4 runs, which was one of the better outings that anybody pitched against them. And he started swinging the bat extremely well for us last year too. So he's going to be a vital part of our lineup, and we'll be excited to get him back.
Yes, we will. And with that, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the upcoming season, your opponents, who's going to be strong, and what your region makeup looks like and what your schedule looks like. So with that, we're going to take a short break. We want to thank these sponsors for making these TV35 Coaches Show possible.
Hi, I'm Brian Millett with GameOn Training.
Now, thanks to GameOn Training in Dublin, you can train at a first-rate facility. With over 16,000 square feet of training space, GameOn features the right equipment and a knowledgeable staff, giving serious athletes and recreational players everything they need to take their game to the next level. GameOn offers individual and team packages. Monthly memberships are available and one-on-one lessons for ages 7 and up. GameOn members have access to train 24/7, so don't miss out. Call or come by for the latest information and schedules, and remember,
get your game on at GameOn!
GameOn also offers CrossFit DGA with owner Eric Bland. Get the best workout you've ever had with Eric and his staff. Join GameOn's training today for excellent core strength and conditioning. And get your game on.
Welcome back to the TV35 Coaches Show. With me, we're joined with Coach Gary Sanders, the varsity baseball coach for another year here at Trinity. Coach, before the break, we talked about your players, talked about the couple of games that you've already got under your belt. Talk about your region and who's strong on the region, how you expect to be able to stack up against them with arguably a young bunch, which you experienced as a coach in football. With a young bunch, with a couple of upperclassmen sprinkled in there. So talk about your team up against your region.
Our region is very balanced again this year. Edmund was very young last year. They've got almost everybody back. They should be a lot better and fairly strong this year. Pinewood and Frederica probably will be 2 of the better teams this year. They got a lot of folks back. They do that, and Bullock has a lot of good athletes, so I expect them to be very competitive. They did lose some of their pitching, and Pinewood lost their number 1, but both teams got an awful lot coming back. So I expect it to be a tough region, but I'll take our kids to battle anytime. They're getting after it, and we're going to see what happens with it.
Generally, GISA baseball is pretty strong from top to bottom. A lot of these boys play a lot of baseball. Is that pretty much been your experience wherever you've been in the GISA?
Yes, and GISA plays good baseball. I mean, folks can say what they want, but there's no doubt about it. You take some of the better teams in GISA and they can compete with schools their size. I mean, you look at some of the teams that have gone from GISA, Georgia High School, they've done that. And I think we can. We've got a lot of good quality ones in there. We're going to face some pitchers that throw mid to upper 80s, and, we're going to face some that maybe upper 70s, but that's part of it.
It is. And looking at your schedule, I noticed that the last couple weeks of the season is a pretty grueling schedule with, I think 4 games and right in the thick of your region. How do you think that will play out for you?
I think it'll be fine by then. We should have everybody. We should be at 100%, and it actually will be to our favor, I think, this year. Of course, all of them will be that way because we'll have to be playing. But region sets up the schedule, and then sometimes schools have a little conflict, and you have to change a little bit. But bottom line is one of our goals is to get better every day, get better every week, and be playing our best baseball at the end of the year, and that's what we want to be doing.
I would think that it would be very difficult for a team on your roster, if they play the number of games within a certain period of time in between games, they're going to have a difficult time having any better pitching staff than you've got. And looking at Britt Evans, at Chase Autry, Matt East, Robert Chapman, Joe Lord, Purvis, Blake Purvis, for a young team, you're pretty deep in pitching, it appears.
We are, and by the time we get everybody healthy, we'll have as good a 1 through 4 as anybody, I think, and then even our 5 and 6 are going to be pretty good too, so they can get out and get us some innings, and that's what we got to have. When you're playing 3 or 4 region games or ball games a week, at least 3 region games, you got to have pitching depth. You got to develop pitching, and that's what we're trying to do.
Well, how are the arms of every player on your team? As early seems like in baseball, with them playing multiple sports, they don't have a whole lot of time to throw and get ready, and a lot of times players will just have sore arms. How are they doing with it being this early in the season?
We haven't, luckily, we've been fortunate we haven't had any complaint about arms. We try to throw, every day we're going to throw them. We long toss. We encourage them to stretch them out and throw us long distance, and I think that helps a lot. So, yeah, you are limited in it, and that's where some of them have to do some on their own too, throw to get ready.
Well, today you're facing John Millage, and by the time this airs, that game will be in the books, and they'll be able to read about it in the newspaper. But so this is going to be kind of interesting for you. You're going to be able to talk about tonight's game, but by the time it shows, you're either going to be have a crystal ball you've looked into, or you need to get a new crystal ball. What's your thought about the game against John Millage?
John Millage is very athletic. I know they've got a lot of good athletes. I know 2 or 3 of them just got through with basketball, but Coach Mills said they were going to play today because they start their region next week, and he's got to get them ready. So they'll be very athletic. They'll be well coached. Justin played for me, and so I know him. We know him well, and know some of those kids. But they'll be very athletic, and they'll be a good test for us. And we try to play a tough non-region schedule, and that's to make ourselves better in the region and at playoff time. Try to help us there.
Speaking of Justin Mills, and speaking of him playing for you, I believe he was part of a state championship team you coached there, and he went on to play at Georgia College and then was actually drafted. So they've got a very good coach at John Millage, and he was here for a short period of time. And having talked about the athletes, here again, in GISA, you have a lot of players playing multiple sports, and you mentioned they have a lot of good athletes. They are loaded with good athletes.
Oh, they are. Of course, the Walter Presswood helps Justin, does the pitch, and he's got 3 boys that are very good athletes and play and help. And Harrison Bryant played and helped. Jalen Beck, I know, did, but he's got some good ones that don't play. The Bryant kid, who I had there in the middle school, is as good a defensive catcher as you'll find in the JSA. So they've got some good athletes, and even without the basketball players, they got some very good players. I know they picked up a couple, and that's going to help them.
So now we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to be across the street at some exciting news taking place with a lot of earth-moving equipment, and we'll bring that news to you. And again, Coach, best of luck this year, and we do appreciate it so much.
Thank you very much, Barry.
Hi, I'm Brian Millett with GameOn Training.
Now, thanks to GameOn Training in Dublin, you can train at a first-rate facility. With over 16,000 square feet of training space, GameOn features the right equipment and a knowledgeable staff giving serious athletes and recreational players everything they need to take their game to the next level. GameOn offers individual and team packages. Monthly memberships are available and one-on-one lessons for ages 7 and up. GameOn members have access to train 24/7, so don't miss out. Call or come by for the latest information and schedules, and remember,
Get your game on at Game On!
GameOn also offers CrossFit DGA with owner Eric Bland. Get the best workout you've ever had with Eric and his staff. Join GameOn's training today for excellent core strength and conditioning. And get your game on.
Welcome back to Trinity. As you can tell, our background has changed. We've moved from the beautiful Trinity baseball field and complex over to the school side of the road, where right behind the camera is the football field, and right over my left shoulder is the basketball gym. But right now we see some new construction taking place, and you can hear it in the background. Joined with me is Mr. Cooey. I call him Coach Cooey. A lot of people call him Headmaster Cooey. So, Mr. Cooey, tell us what's going on here at Trinity.
Well, this is a new facility for us, a multi-purpose facility, and we've been needing one for quite a few years now. But it's as the name is, multi-purpose. It'll be basketball courts, competition cheer room, wrestling room, restrooms in this facility. It'll be for teams to be able to use after school during the summer. When it's raining outside, elementary kids can come straight in on it and have recess. Or if it's 20 to 40 degrees, which we do get sometimes, they can still have recess rather than sitting in the classroom. So we've got a lot of uses we're expecting for it, and a lot of people, I think, will be using it the same way the complex across the road, when it was built, all of a sudden we had lots of people's lives that were being touched over there.
This building, I can foresee everybody in the school at K4 all the way to seniors being able to utilize this building for a long, long time. Matter of fact, I was talking to the football coach the other day, and he was already beginning to work on his workout program. So when they're doing the speed and agility aspect of their program, they'll be possibly in the building being able to take advantage of the big floor space and the covered roof to be able to get a lot more involved.
Well, it is, and again, it's not only our people that will be impacted by it, but I think as we evolve with this, I think the community will see some benefit from it. That with FCA camps and other events that we'll be able to now to host out here with the extra space. I would like to say thank you to Jefferson Baptist Church and First Baptist and First Church of the Nazarene for the last several years. They've really been very supportive of us and helped us with their facilities by letting our teams go and practice there. But again, we see everybody on one campus now in one place being able to practice, so that at least during the school year, so that now we have teams that are not here at 9 o'clock at night. They're able to go home in an earlier hour and get on those academics.
That's a very good point, Coach. I'm sitting here, I was thinking as you were talking about that, during basketball season, you've got elementary basketball, boys and girls, junior pro basketball, which involves a lot of 5th and 6th graders, boys and girls, middle school basketball, which can be 6th, 7th, and 8th, primarily 7th and 8th, boys and girls. You got JV boys and girls. You got varsity boys and girls. So I think it goes without saying this building is long, long overdue.
Well, it'll definitely make an impact upon us. And then during the early part of the basketball season, competition cheerleading is going on. They'll have a place, and then they'll finish up, and then the wrestlers will start their training. And so we are utilizing the space the best we can. And so those two sports will overlap actually in the same room.
That's awesome, Coach. I'm going to pry a little bit into a question that I'm sure you'll be more than happy to answer. How is the building being funded?
Well, it's been funded by donations, and we've raised about a third of the donations right now, and we've got another probably a half pledged. for the facility right now, but we're always looking for people to step in and help out. And if you want to name a floor, we can name your floor. Have your name out there. But again, it's purely through donations right now.
Well, with that in mind, we'd like to thank Dan King for advertising his huddle house on the floor in the gym, which helped get that floor refinished and looking mighty good. So, yes, absolutely. Anybody that would like any part of that, I'm sure it would be greatly appreciated. Switching gears a little bit to the overall school, it is my understanding, I've heard it from multiple people, that Trinity Christian School is probably in one of the best financial shapes as it has been in many years, possibly ranking up there with some of the best years ever. Is that an accurate statement?
Well, Miss Betty Rose Payne, our financial officer, that's what she keeps telling me each day, and we are, and it's due to the family members that have jumped in and helped support the school. We've been able not to raise tuition this year because of all the help with of the family members, and we're able to do this through the donations. We're able to divert other funds that we're using for technology upcoming and for our academic programs, because not all the money that's being spent is on the sports activities. Again, we've got our academic program is growing, along with our population within the school is growing.
I've always said, and I've heard other people that was unaware of Trinity, Trinity is one of the best kept secrets. More and more people are beginning to get to know Trinity through a program called Goal, where people can divert some of their Georgia state tax money to the private school, private institution of their choice. And so more and more students who normally perhaps parents would not be able to afford the entire tuition are being able to be assisted by the Gold Scholarship Program. Tell us briefly about that.
It definitely helps out, and we're all paying Georgia taxes, and so if we can help a school within our community, that's we're totally tuition-driven funds, and there are lots of families out there that would like to come here, and for some cases at different times for different reasons they may not be able to totally afford the whole tuition, and so this program allows us to give back to the community and families that desire a Christian education, and to be able to be here and experience it. Again, we all pay Georgia taxes, and I'd rather, personally, I'd rather know my state taxes is coming to help a program in our hometown rather than filling a pothole in Atlanta, Georgia.
Very well put. And with that in mind, and realizing what's going on at Trinity, Trinity is a great place to be. It's a great place to have your kids in a Christian, nourishing environment. If you would like to come out and visit Trinity, see what it's all about, we welcome you. Just call the office, ask to speak to Mr. Cooey, and they'll set up a time where he'll give you a tour and talk about the upcoming year. Open enrollment has just started, and so there are a few openings, not many. We welcome anyone who's interested in a good quality Christian education to come see what Trinity is all about. I want to thank TV 35 for making these shows possible for the local community. We want to thank these sponsors that make this show possible. So with that, we're going to wish you a very happy St. Patrick's Day, as it's just about to get here. A beautiful day like this, and these balloons will be exploding. We'll look forward to seeing you at Trinity and around town. Thank you very much, and until next time, from Trinity Christian School, I'm Barry Walker, joined with Headmaster Stan Cooey.